In this ZohoCRM Beginners tutorial, we are going to go over all of the crucial features to actually help you launch your business using the ZohoCRM. Once you are on the ZohoCRM website, and by the way, I will leave you my personal referral link down below so that if you want to support me for completely free, you can do so, but either way, no hard worries if you don't. Just head over to the ZohoCRM website, and then on the right here, you can see that you can actually get started with your free trial. Now, as for the pricing, we can quickly head over to that, and we can see right here the pricing is going to vary depending on if you are going to go for a monthly or yearly option. As for monthly, the pricing is going to start at 20 euros, and the most expensive plan is basically going to be 65 euros right here. And right here you can basically see some comparison of all of the features and so on. But as for this video, I will just quickly get my free trial. So I will just put in Elias Krause, and then I'm actually going to use a temp mail, as I just want to give you the full experience on how everything is going to work. So I will just quickly tick these boxes. As you can see right here, we will then have to first of all put in our company name. So I will just put in Krause Media, and then I'm going to click get started. Now as for this video, I'm going to tick this load sample data box so that we have some data to play around with. But for you guys, you're probably going to have to untick this if you want to get started from scratch. But either way, just click on get started. And now the dashboard is going to load up. This tends to take a couple of seconds. And by the way, if you have any questions along the way, as always, you can leave them in the comments down below, and I will try to get back to you as soon as possible. Now, as you can see right here, we will then have basically a timeline on what we will have to do to set up our CRM software. So first of all, we can invite new users onto our team. As you can see, this is going to be my user right here. I'm going to be administrator. And if we would want to, we could add new users to this. So basically potential co-workers of ours and so on. We can then also create our first deals pipeline, connect our email account, migrate existing data, and so on. Now I'm actually going to go over all of the Basically, I'm going to go over all of the features from left to right. So make sure to watch till the end to actually understand everything and to understand how the ZohoCRM actually works. Now to get started, we are going to head over to leads. This is going to be our first section of the video. And right here, as you can see by default, we will already have some sample data, which you can see is actually tagged as sample. Now, if we would now want to basically create a new lead, we could first of all just click on this button. And now we are going to be redirected to this form where we can put in all of our information. However, if you, for example, have some lead data on other CRM softwares and so on, then you can just select import leads right here, and then ZohoCRM is going to walk you through the process of importing all of your leads. But either way, I will just create a sample lead as for this video. So I'm going to select I'm just going to say that the first name is going to be Marcus, and the email is going to be marcus@marcuscompany. Now, obviously, you don't have to actually put in all of the details, only the ones that you want to. Now, let's say that the website is going to be marcuscompany.com. And then as for the lead status, we can select any of these right here. And let's just say that we are going to say that this is a contacted lead. Now, as for the company, we can also put that in right here. So this is obviously just going to be Marcus Company. Obviously, I'm just making things up by now. And then the last name is also going to be Marcus right here. We can then put in the lead source. So let's, for example, say, okay, that this lead actually, we got this lead by doing advertisements. We can then set the industry. So for example, let's say that Marcus is in the management ISV industry, then we can select that right here. As for the annual revenue, we can actually add this right here. So let's say that Marcus on average is going to get us an annual revenue of $5,000. And then as for the rating, if we would want to, we could also set that right here. We can also set some description information and address information if we want to. But for now, I will just click on save, and now we are going to be redirected to the lead overview. As you can see right here, as for the overview, we are going to get a general idea on what kind of infos we already have gathered. However, we can actually also add notes. So for example, you can just add that Marcus is interested in video editing. Okay, and then we can just save this note right here. so that if someone other than us or just for ourselves, if someone is going to see this Marcus lead, they can then see these notes and know that Marcus is actually interested in video editing. Now, if you have any attachments, so basically any files, then you can add this onto this attachment section right here. As well as for products, you can add products to your ZohoCRM, which we're going to touch on later on. And you can also set different kind of things like open activities, closed activities, and so on. But as for now, I will actually just leave this lead status right here. And as you can see, this is how our overview is going to look like. Right here on the left, we are going to see the lead name, then the company, email, phone number, lead source, and lead owner. Now, let's get now to the contacts page right here, where we are going to have different kind of contacts, and once again it is going to be basically the same procedure all over again. You can just add your contact information right here, and you can also obviously import your contacts. Now, I don't want to bore you with this, so I'm just going to get to the next step, which is going to be accounts. Right here you can actually set up accounts. Now, these accounts are basically going to be dependent on what kind of industry and what kind of lead or you're going to focus on. But let's for example say that we are going to actually set up an account for Marcus, and then we can once again set the rating. So let's say that by now Marcus is actually required. Then we can set the ownership to public, and as for the other information I will just leave this blank. And now we have our own account for Marcus, where we can then set all of the closed activities, open activities, as well as all of the contacts inside Marcus. So let's for example say that for Marcus we do need some kind of we basically need contacts. Then we can add that onto this right here. We can also add deals onto Marcus. So let's for example say that we have a deal with Marcus on a retainer basis, where we are going to do the video editing for them. And let's just then we can basically add a new deal right here, which is going to say video editing 10 times. Then we can set the type, so I will just select existing business, and we can also set the amount. So let's just say that as for 10 video edits, this is going to cost $10,000 right here. And now we have our own deal created. We can also set the lead source and so on, but this is already familiar by now, I think. And we can also set the closing date. So let's say that as for this, the closing date is going to be Monday the 30th. So I'm just going to click on save now. And if we're now going to head over to our deals pipeline right here, we can basically see our sales pipeline. Now, this is an essential feature to all kind of sales CRM softwares out there, in basically just a sense where you can streamline your sales process using these pipelines. So by now, as you can see right here, we do have our Marcus video editing sale right here, which we can then drag around. So we can, for example, change this to proposal and price code. And then if we actually are in the negotiation phase, then we can set the do right here. And we can then, depending on how the negotiation went, set this as closed won or as closed lost. So let's just say that as for this video, this is going to be a win. And now we can actually set the amount. So for example, say that, okay, we actually negotiated with Marcus that he is only going to pay $9,000. Then we can also set that right here. And if we are now going to get back to our home page, we will have to skip this, but now we are going to see a general overview of all of our deals and of all of our sales amount and so on. So as you can see, we do have a pipeline deals preview right here, where we are going to see the state of all of our deals. So as you can see, we do have one deal in the qualification phases basically, and then we can also see that, okay, right here, we also see that we have one deal right here. Now, if we would now want to add new components onto this stats page, we would just have to click on add component right here. And then we can select on where we want to get our data from. I will just select dashboard, and then I'm going to select revenue this month. We can then set this to revenue/month. And then if you are now going to save this, we can see that this is going to be the revenue this month. Now the Marcus deal, which we've set up with earlier, isn't actually going to show up because we still would need to actually send out a contract, send out a proposal, and so on. But for now, let's continue with heading over to the tasks section right here. As you can see right here, you can basically set all sorts of different tasks. So let's, for example, say that we are going to create a new task. And then as for the task owner, that's going to be me. And then the subject is going to be a meeting. And then as for the meeting date, we are going to set this at the 25th. As for the contact, I'm actually going to select our Marcus contact right here. So I'm just going to search for Marcus. Actually, I'm sorry. I think we've set up Marcus as a lead. So I'm just going to select lead right here. And then I'm going to look for Marcus right here. So I'm just going to select Marcus so that we actually know that this task is aligned to the Marcus contact, to the Marcus company. And then we can set the status as in progress. We can set the priority and so on. I will just save this right here, and now this is going to show up as a task. And if we're now going to get see our task overview, we can basically see that okay, we do have our Marcus task right here. Now we can also change the view of this. So for example, we can have this in Kanban view. I personally didn't know that this is named like this, but basically I always leave this at this view because I think it looks the nicest. But you can also set up a custom list if you want to, which I'm not actually going to do right now. But we also do have a tile view, which is also customly created and so on. Now as for the meetings page right here, you can actually create a meeting and you can actually just basically set up a meeting so that basically our contact is going to be sent out an email that they have a meeting aligned with us, and then we can also do that like this. However, let's now get to the calls option. Now if we would want to, we could set up a telephony, which is basically going to allow us to set up our calls and set up our phone system directly within Zoho. Now as for the reports, right here we can see reports depending on what kind of different kind of lead, what kind of different kind of deal happened and so on. As for the analytics, this is basically just an overview of all of the in-depth data which we already have at the home board, but this is basically just going to be way more in-depth. And if we would want to, we could basically create a product if we would want to. Now, if you want me to go in-depth in any of these fields, basically, let me know in the comments down below. And if you find this video helpful, make sure to like and subscribe. Now, as for the quotes, right here, we can basically manage our customer quotes. So if we are going to create a new quote, we can first of all set up the subject, as well as quote stage, carrier, as well as all of the address information, quoted items, and so on. Now as for the sales order and services, we can also set this up. However, one thing which I would still like to touch on is going to be this project section right here. So this is actually super useful in my opinion, because you don't have to rely on other project management tools. But either way, if you want to actually know how Zoho project works, you can watch my video right here. And if you want to know the best CRM software out there, you can watch my video right here. Thank you for watching and make sure to like and subscribe.